So, talking about what we did yesterday with single payment loans. As far as I know, single payment loans are not quite as common as what we're going to be looking at here, which are called installment loans. So, we got a little bit of vocab that we're going to be dealing with today. We'll take a look at the lesson objective as well. So, get this focused in here. There we go. So today our objective is to be able to calculate the down payment and the amount financed on an installment loan. We'll be looking at some vocab today: installment loan, down payment, amount financed. So the things that were mentioned in the lesson objective, all three of those vocabulary terms we'll be taking a look at today. Some of you might be pretty familiar with this stuff already, but perhaps not. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit here as well. There we go. Okay. So getting ready here, it says, if you were interested in starting a small business, what would it be? So, I mean, some of you might have actually thought of that before. And this one says here, Kerry Holland decided to turn his experience in doing yard work for his parents into a business. His first clients were neighbors. Soon he had so much business that he had to purchase equipment and hire a friend to help him out. So that's honestly, a lot of businesses kind of start that way, just like doing little weekend jobs or whatever. And then after a while, more and more people hear about it, and you end up kind of figuring out like, wow, I could actually kind of make a living out of this. So that's not necessarily a bad way to go. If you are good at something and people come to you for the thing that you're good at, and you can make some decent money off of that, sometimes it's a good idea to start your own business. So first of all, the difference between yesterday we were talking about single payment loans and installment loans. What we're talking about today, this says here, you could apply for an installment loan to finance the purchase of a new or used vehicle, such as a car, truck, or motorcycle. And it says that you repay an installment loan in equal payments over a specified period of time. Usually when you purchase an item with an installment loan, you must make a down payment. The down payment is a portion of the cash price of the item you are purchasing before financing the rest on credit. It could be a dollar amount or a percent of the cash price. The amount financed is the portion of the cash price that you owe after making the down payment. The formulas to calculate the amount financed are right here. So, got a couple of formulas that we're going to be dealing with today. And I'll talk about kind of all the things that we just read in that little paragraph before we get started on some of these examples. But suffice to say, the math today is not super complicated at all, actually. It's a very familiar math. We're going to be talking about percentages. We're going to be talking about subtracting amounts. Really very similar to what we've been working on already. So in terms of installment loans are not one-time payments. Yesterday, we talked about single payment loans. Those are usually for pretty small amounts to pay back a loan in one payment after a certain period of time. You would generally borrow a relatively small amount of money to do that. Today, however, with installment loans are usually because you're borrowing a larger amount of money. Let's say, this business example here, sometimes it takes a lot of money to get a business started. And so you could take out a business loan, a small business loan, and you would have to pay that loan back over time through multiple payments. Or for example, if you want to buy a car, sometimes people don't have, $20,000 in cash to go buy a car, but they want to buy a new car anyway. So they'll go and they'll put a couple $1,000s down. That's your down payment, which means that they are going to owe $18,000 plus interest on the amount financed. So the amount financed is whatever amount you didn't pay for up front is what the amount financed is. And then car loans happen over a number of years. You can do like a 3-year loan or a 4 or 5 or even a 6-year loan in order to pay that back. Now, some people are, find those longer loans more attractive because the monthly payment ends up being lower. But over time, the longer your loan is, the more money you end up paying in interest. So the loan is actually cheaper the quicker you can pay it off. It'll probably cost you more per month because you're paying it off in a quicker time period, but you end up paying less interest if you can pay it off faster. Another example, who can think of another example of installment loans? What's another really big purchase that you can make where you put some money down up front at the beginning of the purchase, but then you pay it off over a long period of time? So we talked about a business loan, car loan. What's another big purchase that you could make installment payments on over a long amount of time? Yeah, home loan, exactly. So like if you buy a house, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, very, very few people are going to be able to save up enough cash to buy an entire house without financing it. That's not a super realistic thing. So a lot of people, when they buy a house, most people, in fact, will put a certain amount of money down. And home loans, you usually, it says right here, for the down payment, it says it's a portion of the cash price you are purchasing. It could be a dollar amount or a percent. With cars, oftentimes with cars, you'll put a dollar amount down. However, when it comes to homes, the homes are usually, your down payment is usually calculated based on a percentage of the overall purchase price. So that's a couple of different ways that those are calculated. And then home loans, does anybody know how much time it takes to pay off just like a standard home loan, like what the normal amount of time is to pay off a home loan? 12 would actually be really quick. So the shortest home loans that I've seen are 15 years. That's for a short home loan. Standard home loans are for 30 years. So a standard home loan is actually most standard home loans, conventional is what they're called. A conventional home loan, most of the time is a 30-year loan. So you are paying for your house for 30 years. Now you can pay it off quicker if you get some extra money. You can put extra money into your to pay down the amount that you owe. You can do that if you want to. But in general, a home loan is given to people to pay over 30 years. It's a very long commitment to do that. So, it's a really big loan, takes a long time to pay off. It's a pretty expensive process to do up front, and it's a pretty expensive process to keep doing because monthly payments are not necessarily inexpensive when you're paying off a house. So that's the idea of an installment loan. You give a certain amount of money to be like, yes, I'm serious about this. Here's a few $1,000s to get started, and then I'll pay the rest off over time in monthly payments. So example number one, let's see, can someone take over your loan if you sell your house or car? Cars, yes, absolutely. If you sell your house, generally speaking, the bank will actually technically own whatever bank is giving you the loan will own that product until you've paid it off. So if you sell a house, the bank that holds the loan technically is the owner of that house. And so if you sell your home, generally speaking, you make a profit when you sell a house. And so you'll actually, you'll get paid by the bank of the person buying the home, and you'll get that cash. And then you have to give the majority of that cash to your bank so they can get paid for the sale of the house, and then whatever's left over, whatever's left over in cash, that's what you get to keep to then turn around and purchase a new house. For a car, I believe that you can, but I would imagine there's a pretty detailed process paperwork wise that you have to go through if somebody else is going to take over payments on a car loan that you have. I would imagine it's possible, but I actually don't know the process for that. I've never been involved with something like that, so I'm not super confident about that, but I think you can. I just feel like it would be a very, very detailed process that you'd have to work through for somebody to take over payments on a car. So yeah. And for those of you who have ever bought a car and made payments on a car, you know that you don't actually get the title to the car. You don't actually take ownership of that car until you're done paying it off. I purchased a couple cars that way, and I've also bought some cars just in cash outright, some cheaper ones. And if you buy it outright, then you get the title right away. But if you pay it over time, the bank will send you the title once you're done paying it off. All right. So I'd imagine if you sell a car, so I think in order to sell a car where you're not done making the payments, the bank would have to be involved. The bank would have to be involved if you sell a car that you're not done paying off, because the bank is the one that actually holds the title. So yeah, there's probably a loophole. There's loopholes for a lot of things, but I tend to play things pretty safe when it comes to financial type of things, because boy, you got to be careful with financial transactions, because if you don't do things the way that they need to be done, you can get yourself in a real mess. So all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some examples here. And like I said, the math today, not super complicated. So Trudy Quintero is buying gym equipment for $1,399. She makes $199 down payment and finances the remainder. How much does she finance? So really all we have to do here, we want to know how much she's financing. And so the amount financed formula is right here. The amount financed is equal to the cash price minus the down payment. That's literally all we have to do. It's a subtraction problem. So it's $1,399. So amount financed, I'll just abbreviate those, is equal to the cash price, $1,399, minus the down payment, $199. So that's all that we have to do here. So the amount financed, the answer to this one is $1,200. And that's it. Simple as that. And I would actually say, when it comes to purchases that would not necessarily consider to be necessities, and this is my personal view, so this is like a strong personal view that I hold, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is looking to purchase anything. You know, for me, the only things that I've ever financed are a car, which a lot of people don't even think that that's a legitimate thing, and I'm totally fine with that, because you know, you can always find a car for not a whole lot of money. So financing a car, that's kind of a gray area. Some people really are against it. Some people are like, yeah, I mean, it's okay to have a decent car and make payments on it. A house, for sure. It's definitely okay to finance a house, because chances are there's no way you're going to be able to buy a house without financing it, unless you win the lottery or get some kind of amazing inheritance or something like that. College, if you decide to go to college, that's something that is likely to be financed, because paying cash for college probably not going to happen, because college is expensive. But in the long run, it usually ends up paying off, even as the price of college increases. And there's ways to get around and pay cheaper amounts for college. Like if you have solid academics, you can get scholarships for academics. Or if you're planning on going to college, but you don't know what you want to do yet, you can go to community college for your first 2 years and pay like very little amount of money, and then transfer into a university after that for your major. So there are ways you can do college without spending too much money. It's still expensive either way, though. So I would say a car, college, a house, and then things that are kind of unavoidable, like medical expenses. That can be a whole lot of money. You know, some people end up having to make payments on medical expenses. Personally, I have done that before. I have paid installment payments on medical expenses, because the cost is enormous. And sometimes you don't have all of the cash you need to pay it up front. So those are the things that I would say. Those are like the 4 things that I would say, yeah, it's probably okay to do installment loans and financing on those types of things. If you are buying home gym equipment, I would not recommend doing an installment loan. Just because, things like that, things like gym equipment or electronics or furniture or things like that, they lose so much value so quickly, that if you're paying interest on something like that, it's just going to be, you're going to be paying way too much for that product. So I would absolutely recommend never financing a television or video games or anything like that. Furniture, don't do it. Because you can always find things in the meantime that are less expensive, save up money, and then just go pay cash for it, whatever you want to, instead of financing it. So avoid financing in most situations, but for like cars, houses, education, and healthcare, those four things, that's probably okay. But anything else, really try to avoid it. I worked at Best Buy for a little while, and they tried to get us to like push the Best Buy credit card and like, oh, make payments on your purchase. And it's like I always felt weird about that, as a salesperson, like trying to like hook people in, um, who maybe didn't have enough money to buy the thing that they wanted, but then, oh, you can use this credit card and make installment payments, and some people would end up doing it. And I always felt really weird about that. It didn't make me feel good. So let's go ahead and take a look at these two examples down here. It says, number one, Melina Verdolos purchased season concert tickets for $1,999.99. The down payment is $199.99. So we are determining the amount financed. So the amount financed here is going to be equal to the total cash price, $1999.99, minus the down payment of $199.99. So we're looking at an amount financed of $1,800. So just straight subtraction for these ones. Same thing with the second one. Let's see. Bertolini Dentistry purchased new equipment. So this is a business. This looks like a business expense here, which, if you own a business, financing equipment is much different than if you're purchasing it with your own personal money. Business purchases are protected. Those are usually not your own money that you're putting into it. You're spending a different source of money. And so businesses, they need equipment and things like that. If you're going to finance it for a business expense, that's okay. So Bertolini Dentistry purchased new equipment for $3,950. The down payment is $150. So I'll go ahead and ask you this one. What's the amount financed on the second one here? How much is going to be paid off in installments? What's our answer there for number two? Anybody have it? How much is financed for number two? Awesome. $3,800. Perfect. Thank you, Zoe. So $3,800 is the amount financed. All right. So you see some questions like that on your assignment today. And if it wants you to know, if it wants you to say how much was financed, then that's how we can do that. Now, the other way, so this is right here. If we go back up to our the down payment portion. It says the down payment could be a dollar amount or a percent of the cash price. So far, we've only dealt with the dollar amount side of things here. 199, 199.99, 150. So we've only dealt with dollar amounts. So for our other problems, we're going to be dealing with the percentage for down payments. So example 2 says Rosalind Clay purchased a previously owned piano for $1,140 using the store's installment credit plan. She made a 20% down payment and she financed the remaining amount. What amount did she finance? So we're going to end up using the amount financed subtraction formula that we used on the first page. But first, we have to figure out how much was actually made in the down payment, because this time we're talking about a 20% down payment. So it doesn't give us the amount, it gives us the percent. So 20% down payment, that's going to be 0.2 as our decimal. And we were told that the formula on the front here for the down payment amount is the cash price multiplied by the percent. So down payment equals cash price times the percent. So that means we're looking at 1,140 multiplied by 0.2 or 0.20, whichever. So the down payment how much did she put down on that piano? What was her down payment? Somebody go ahead and type that in when you have it. $228. Good. So the down payment is $228. And so now we just take that value. Now that we have the amount, we're just going to throw that into the amount financed formula. So we're going to have cash price 1140 minus the down payment of 228, which gives us an amount financed of $912. And this is another situation where, you know, if you're looking to buy a piano and the piano is only, this seems like a really inexpensive piano to me, $1,140. That's like the price, kind of like the price of a decent TV. I would say save up for it. Just save up until you have that money, and then just go buy it. So it'll take some time, but you'll end up paying a lot less for it in the long run. So $912 was financed on that one. All right, let's get these last two done, and then we'll call it a day. We'll be done for the week, and we'll be done until Tuesday because you have Monday off. Monday's a holiday. All right, so number 3, here we go. A, find the down payment. So down payment. All right, Antonio Reyes purchased an antique chest for $1,360 cash price. He made a 20% down payment. We want to know the amount for the down payment and the amount financed. So for A, I'm going to freeze my screen here. And I'm going to do both of these, A and B. And when you think you have some answers for these, for the down payment and the amount financed, feel free to get those typed in. So $1,360 is the cash price with a 20% down payment. So calculate the down payment. Type that in when you think you have it. We'll take a look at our answers in a second. So Zoe's got the down payment there of $272. I agree with that. All right. How much was financed then? Excellent. So $1,088 is the amount financed. Great. Let's go and do this last one here. So I'm going to freeze my screen again. We'll go with 2 minutes. Figure out the down payments, figure out the amount financed, and then we'll take a quick look at the assignment and then we'll be done. Yeah, my document camera, it does the little beeps when it's focusing. All right, so does anybody have any answers about the amount financed or the down payment for number 4? So $517.50 for the down payment and $1,207.50 for the amount financed. I like it. Got some more beeps. All right, there they are. Down payment, $1,725 multiplied by 30%. Gives us $517.50 for the amount for the down payment, and then for the amount financed, $1,725 minus the down payment leaves us with $1,207.50 for the amount that is financed, which will be paid off usually on monthly payments over a certain amount of time. So that is it for the notes. Let's go ahead and have a look then at the assignment. And this will be due on Tuesday because Monday is a holiday. So we've got, a decent amount of questions on the first page, only 2 questions on the second one. And if we zoom in here, so down payment in dollars, that's going to be really easy for these first 3 because it actually gives you the amount. So you just take the 120, plug it in for A, take the 1400, that's A, 1500, that's A. For 8, 9, and 10 though, you're going to need to use the percentage method. So multiply by 0.4, that gives you your amount, multiply by 0.15, by 0.25, and then subtract the amount financed or the down payment, subtract the down payment in dollars from the cash price over here to get B, the amount financed. For 11 through 14, it's just subtraction. 15 through 19 is going to be like what we just did for those last couple of problems. 20 is sort of a question that you have to kind of reason your way through, a little bit of math to do. So it's asking you if a 25% down payment is going to be enough to finance no more than $9,000. So you're going to have to work through that one. And then the last 2, 21 and 22, got a lot of different purchases here. There's a 6.5% sales tax that you have to factor in, 20% down payment. What was the amount that was financed? So this one will be a bit of a challenge, hence the challenge problem. And then let's see. You will finance it with an installment loan for the bank that plans to finance it no more than $10,000. So this one here, 22, is going to require a little bit of algebra. So like I think one step on number 22. So the only one of these that's going to require any algebra is the very last one. So go ahead and be working through that. Get that turned in by Tuesday, please. And use this weekend. First of all, it's nice out. I mean, nice in the sense that snow is fun. So go have fun in the snow. But also, it's a 3-day weekend. So if you need to catch up on some things, do that. If you need to make up some tests or retake some tests or do some work that hasn't gotten done, use some time over this 3-day weekend to get some of that stuff done and turned in.